Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode.
Welcome back to this week's episode of the Shed Geek podcast. This is Susan the Shed Gal, and today I have the honor of being out in Wickenburg, Arizona. It's an absolutely beautiful day. I am with April and Gregg Gayan, and I'm going to have you just jump in and introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about you or about your business name, your locations, and then we'll go from there.
We have locations in Wickenburg, Morristown, and Siloam currently. We're excited to be part of the Supercenter coming to, what do they call that, Glendale?
It is Glendale. Yeah. Glendale, Arizona.
Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yes.
And we have been in the shed business about 3.5 years now. Our builder is Five Star Sheds out of Dewey.
Yes.
And our company is Sheds AZ.
And a little plug there. I'm going to jump in. It's shedsaz.com. And it's Philip that owns Five Star Sheds, correct?
That is correct.
And then you're the dealer and you have several lots. How long have you been a dealer for?
3.5 years.
Great. And Greg, you have a role within the company. What is your specific role?
So I'm the sales manager for Five Star Sheds.
Great.
As well as I assist April with Sheds AZ.
Wonderful. How many lots do they currently have across the state?
Five Star Sheds, including April's lots, has 9 lots currently.
Wonderful. Well, we see your sheds everywhere, so that's a really good thing. Quick side story. One of my lots in my previous life used to be right next door. That's how we met. We are, full disclosure, we are opening up one of our Shed Gal Supercenters in Glendale, Arizona. It is literally the best place in the entire county, Maricopa County. It is directly across the freeway from, is it State Farm Stadium? Where the Arizona
They've changed
Cardinals
it so many times.
Yes,
I just call it Cardinal Stadium.
There you go. We'll call it Cardinal Stadium. And rather than bringing on sheds ourselves, I contacted April and asked her, hey, why don't you bring your sheds there? And so that's how this partnership has come about there. But aside from that, we're going to talk about you today. But I'm super excited for that. And literally, I never in a million years thought that I would say my new lot in Arizona depends on barley growing, but that's the truth. So here we are waiting on barley to get done so we can get this lot up and going. It's going to be very exciting.
Definitely.
And so we'll have the sheds represented. We'll have the steel buildings. I understand that you are now offering greenhouses. Rumors have it.
That is
Rumor has
correct.
it. Wonderful.
We do have that now, and they're beautiful. It's really nice.
Yes. I haven't seen one in person, only in a picture, and I'm super excited. It looked absolutely beautiful.
Well, April has not seen one in person yet either.
Oh,
That is
I just sent her
true.
pictures, and she sold the first prototype one off the build shop.
Okay.
And the lady was very excited because
I bet.
she couldn't find anything in Arizona,
Yes.
and she was going to go to Texas and load them up for her and her
Yes.
friends. So hopefully we'll be selling more to her and her gardening pals.
I love it. I have absolutely no doubt that you're going to kill it in the market of greenhouses in Arizona. And for many of you, you might not realize, many people think of Arizona as just one big desert. Most of Arizona is above 4,500 feet in elevation.
That's true.
Beautiful ponderosa pines. You're going to sell a lot of greenhouses throughout the whole state.
Yeah, the first one was sold up in Williams, Arizona.
Oh, wonderful. That's also where I used to have one of my lots. Boy, that's a beautiful, beautiful area.
Yep, a lot
Absolutely
of growth
gorgeous.
up there.
One of the last times I was actually up in Williams, it wasn't this last winter, but the winter before last, I went up to work for a few days, checked into my hotel, got up in the morning, and there was so much snow I couldn't get out of the parking lot, and the 40 was closed. So I was literally stuck up there, but boy, what a beautiful place to be. So you just sold that greenhouse before you even got it on your lot.
That's correct.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah. Philip, if you're listening, which I expect you are, get those builders, more greenhouses, my friend, more greenhouses. That's wonderful.
Definitely.
So you and I had talked about something else that you're offering. I haven't seen one on your lot yet, but that may be because it's still in development, but portable decks.
Correct.
So when I've asked people what's a portable deck, they have no idea what that is. Can you tell us a little bit about some of our listeners might not know. What is a portable deck?
So our portable porches are basically built the same way as our sheds. So they're built on the 4x6 pressure treated runners.
Very nice.
And then also pressure treated lumber for the floor. So they're easily
Movable.
transported
Okay.
by our same shed hauler. And some people like to use those to get around some of the county requirements of having more than 10 by 20 square feet.
Oh, yes.
A lot of 200 square foot is the maximum for buildings without having to have
A permit.
a permit for the building. So some people have the building and then have the portable porch
I
next to
love that.
it, or just anywhere. Even if you don't have a portable building or portable
Yeah.
shed, you could have that anywhere in your yard.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them on manufactured homes in different places of the country. We've talked about that, like how do we market a portable deck or a portable porch? It sounds like it's a porch you just pick up and move. It's quite similar to a portable shed, which yes, it is movable, but it's built, delivered intact, and it's pretty much meant to stay where it's going. So it doesn't go on a trailer to be moved. One of the other advantages of the portable porches is, from what I've heard, is the cost savings to the consumer. That rather than hiring a contractor and going through the whole process, that they're saving maybe 20%, maybe even more.
Yes, absolutely.
That's huge.
It can be,
That's
for
huge.
sure.
Yeah, and I guess that comes down to how do we as dealers and other dealers out there, how do you market something like that effectively? I mean, I'm not asking for the answer unless you know it, but it's like, always.
We're still working on the answer.
Okay, good.
But
can
once we
work on
get
that
them on the
together.
lots and people see them, and then able to say, oh, that is a great idea.
Yes.
So yeah, trying to get that marketing out has been a challenge, but
Yes.
it's also a new product, so we're working on that.
Absolutely.
Because, like you said, people just don't understand when you say, oh, well, we have a
Portable
deck or a
deck.
portable porch. Like what? No, that my deck is.
Yes. Right. I don't want
It's
my
built
deck
it-
to
yeah,
move.
built-
I
yeah.
want it in front of my home or my
Right.
shed. Yeah. Wonderful. So let's go back to the beginning. You said you've been dealers for about 3.5 years.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about what each of you did before you got into the shed and metal building industry.
I've done lots of different things. I was actually working for a trucking company, an auto hauler in El Mirage, and
I did not know that.
I
Okay.
was looking for something different to do. And I spent a lot of time praying about the right opportunity coming along, and I saw an advertisement on Indeed from Philip looking for someone to sell sheds. And I've sold a lot of different things in my life, never sheds, but I thought I could do that. So I applied and interviewed with him that afternoon.
Wow.
And he
Wow.
said,
He was motivated, and so were you.
yes. And he said, go home, talk to your husband. And so by the time I got home, I'd already pretty much made up my mind that was what I was going to do. But I did talk to Greg about it, and we decided.
She already made the decision before she talked to me.
So basically it was like, hey, honey, I'm home and I'm going to be selling sheds.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how
yeah.
it worked.
Yeah, I understand that completely, how that works.
I decided that I'm not working at the at the car hauling place anymore. I am going to be selling sheds. I said, oh, sounds good. I stand behind you.
So, and that is awesome. But in your head, wasn't there a little like, we're going to be selling what? And how are we going to do this? Or did you just like, well, let's do it?
We pretty much just said, let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a different kind of process for different people. Mine, and this isn't about me, but mine started, I had a horrible experience. I went in to order a shed. I said to the owner of the company, you need a really good dealer down in my area. He said, yes, we do. He said, here's my card, call me. I left, went out to the car, text my husband and said, I think we're going to become shed dealers. It was literally that, that quick. So everybody gets in it differently. Some people think about it for a long time. I love the fact that you just jumped in and that you've been successful and that here we are today. So, Greg, what was your background?
I've been in sales pretty much all my life, but right before I made the switch to helping April because I was working for Apple in the self-driving car project.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
then
interesting.
She got busy. I designed her website, and that helped increase sales. And then she said, "Hey, I'm pretty busy, and we want to build another lot and all that, and I need your help." And I would rather work for a small company than a large company. I liked the opportunity that I worked for them, but it was very impersonal. And
right. You're a number. You're an employee. You get a paycheck and benefits, and this is personal. You know Philip. He knows you.
Mm-hmm.
You know the people.
Absolutely.
That's really interesting. I did not know that background. That is quite a jump. How far into this were you before you jumped on board Greg full time?
4 months.
5 months. Yeah, 4 or 5 months.
All right. Well, a little bit slow. My husband was on board 60 days in, but no, I'm just
Slacker.
with all due. Yeah.
Well, I was
said it,
double
not
dipping
me.
for a while.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
he did.
Yeah.
He did.
So
Because he did a lot.
Yeah,
for me.
dipping your toes in. My husband actually worked at Boeing. He was a mechanic. It's a very secure job. It's good money, great benefits, and it was 60 days in, and we were like, you know what? We need both of us on board. I mean, what a great place to be. And 4 or 5 months in, I mean, that's fantastic. That tells me that you were doing what you needed to do to sell sheds and stuff right off the bat. I think that's great. I want to ask you, why? Why did you choose 5-star sheds? Is it because, I mean, you probably did a little research or not, maybe not, but what brought you to, I mean, I know you saw the ad on Indeed, but it might have triggered, well, let's do a little Googling or whatever. Why did you make the decision there?
No.
No, it was simply
It was-
right place, right time,
Perfect.
right person, right match. I think is what it was. Like
I
she
love
said
that.
she was looking for a change. She prayed. She thought she found the right answer. That neither one of us knew much about sheds.
Right.
Before neither one of us bought a shed before. Basically,
Yeah.
before we started selling sheds, that was. We both thought, oh, that's where you put your lawnmower. But
And it is, but so much more.
so much more. Yeah,
Absolutely.
once we
So
started
much more.
selling sheds, so
Right.
many people use it for home offices and.
Oh my gosh, you name it, right?
A million different uses. I mean, still 3.5 years in, once a week, we're still finding somebody with a new,
Yeah.
New idea.
new idea.
Yeah.
People using it for all kinds of different businesses, and like, oh, I want to start it in my backyard, and start it that way before they grow it into a
Yes.
bigger business. So it's definitely a great way for people to, start something
Absolutely.
without not a huge investment and okay, I got to go buy this giant storefront somewhere and
Yes.
all that. You build a
and
shed
all
and
that goes with that.
yeah.
So that leads me to, I mean, there's some dealers that I didn't look around. So that's interesting. I'm not sure if we're the norm or not the norm. I found that company and the opportunity presented itself and I took it, right? I was with them for 13 months. We sold 400 buildings in our first year. There was just some great company, but some behind the scenes things. It was almost like our sales caused problems because it was a smaller company. And so we jumped ship then and switched, and it worked out fine. I think a lot of dealers do a lot of research where they're looking at some of the smaller companies. I mean, you guys are a big company in Arizona, but it's a regional company. But they're looking at maybe some of the bigger name companies too, and then they're making a decision because the fact of the matter is all the companies want great dealers, right?
Right.
So it's almost like we get to pick and choose. But tell me why that was a good decision. Why was it a good decision to choose 5-star sheds? Because you're here 3.5 years later, so that tells me that this is a cohesive working relationship. Could you find a less expensive shed. Yeah, maybe today, not 6 months from now. It's cyclical.
Have you been considering adding a line of greenhouses to your brand? At Cold Spring Enterprises, we have the perfect solution for you. By incorporating greenhouse products into your sales location, whether you're a do-it-yourself dealer or a manufacturer supporting multiple shed lots, you can expand your customer base. We offer easy-to-assemble greenhouse kits that will simplify the process of adding greenhouses to your lot. You can choose between two basic styles, an economy style and an A-frame style. We can ship a standard 8x12 greenhouse kit directly to your shed lot or manufacturing location. These kits include all the necessary components for assembly, except for the wainscoting or clear panels, door, and fan. However, we can assist you in connecting with the supplier for these items. Moreover, we also offer negotiable bulk pricing for multiple units. To help you get started, we are pleased to offer an exclusive discount through the Shed Geek podcast. You can receive an 8x12 economy or A-frame style greenhouse, complete with wainscoting or clear panels, a screen door, and fan. The pricing for a complete one-time display unit starts at $2,195 for an economy style and $2,545 for an A-frame style, excluding shipping and tax. For more information and to request bulk unit pricing, please visit www.shedgeek.com/cold-spring-enterprises and fill out your information, and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. Or simply go to the Shed Geek newsletter and click on the greenhouse picture to fill out your information. Thank you for considering our greenhouse kits. We are excited to work together to bring greenhouse kits to your line of products.
Why is it that the grass is good on your side of the fence?
Well, I mean, we've been approached by all kinds of other different companies and said, hey, you don't want to sell our sheds? And
Right.
we just have a good relationship with Philip. I mean, there's a lot of good communication back and forth. Like we decided that, together that we should start building greenhouses. And,
Yes.
so, I think we have that input and it's listened to as opposed to a large company. Kind of like I said before, I'd much rather work for a smaller company than a large company where even if you're a dealer, okay, no, this is how everything works. So I think there's a lot of communication back and forth, and
I
we
think
listen to
that's
what
great.
he's saying, he's listening to what we're saying. Is everything that he says the right answer? Everything I say, no, but
Right.
there are those open lines of communication, and yes, there have been growing pains, while we're going, but I mean, everything worked out, and
Right.
and
Right.
we
feel like
loyal.
we're part of the team.
Yeah, exactly. Feel part of the team.
Oh, I think you just nailed it right there. And, let me be clear. I'm not slamming any big company. I love every company out there myself. And I think what you're saying is the larger the organization, it tends to be the less communication, unless you feel like you really have
It's very
input.
impersonal.
Yes. Yeah.
When you're
and
with
so,
the big-
yeah. And I know working for a big company myself, there's good and bad like any other company.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, any other company. But I just don't want any big company out there to think that we're slamming them. Absolutely not.
Oh, absolutely not. It's just not the right fit
Right.
for
us.
our
Exactly.
situation, and we just like the how we're able to communicate and
Yes.
work together.
Yeah.
And like she said, feel that we're part of the team.
Yeah.
And we're able to do some customization and stuff that the bigger
Oh.
companies aren't
Yes,
doing.
that is an advantage.
And we do definitely like that. We can build your building on site. We can build it on top of the mountain. We've done it. And
And I wanted to throw something out there with you because I wasn't able to offer on-site builds, and we still did great. So, I mean, I'm not going to use the excuse, well, I didn't do good because I couldn't offer that. But I think it's wonderful that you can. But the thing that shocked me was the small additional charge that you guys charge for on-site builds. How much do you charge extra for an on-site build?
we charge an extra 5% based on the location.
Okay.
If it happens to be a smaller building and say it's down in Tucson, there is a $500 minimum.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, that makes
Because we're
sense.
sending them down there with literally the entire shop so they can build
Yes.
an 8x8 building.
Yeah. When you told me the amount, I literally was shocked. because I've heard companies can charge 15, 20, 25%. I heard one was even charging 30. And hey, it's working for them. They're selling Onsite Builds. That's fantastic. But 5%, it's and then I think last month you had a special. There was no additional charge. I'm like, that's incredible. What a great way to, Maricopa County is kind of a beast in and of itself. I think the only thing, I won't say worse, the only thing more challenging that I found is Clark County, up where Vegas is. But there's a lot of homeowners associations in Arizona.
Absolutely.
My house has the 6-foot brick walls. I'm fortunate to have a RV gate, but most people don't. They need those Onsite Builds.
Right. That's the
Yes.
reason why we try to stay very competitive in that area because
Yes.
of the unique situation that a lot of people don't know across the
Yes.
country. That pretty much in most parts of Arizona, especially in the Phoenix area, they put up the big block walls before they even put in the houses.
Yes, they do. That was
And-
weird to me. That was so
Yeah.
weird. You build the walls before you build the houses, but hey, here we are.
Yeah.
So that's huge, and it gives you such a broader audience. So, if you're a dealer out there and your company offers on-site builds and you're not selling them, reach out to me. I do have some helpful hints for you, and you don't pay a dime for me to help you out and give you a little bit of advice, but because that's big, that's huge. That's a whole nother market. And we talked about that at the new upcoming, Glendale, Arizona Supercenter. I would guess approximately 3 out of 4 people that came into my lot. Now, I'm not talking about the people that I attracted through social media advertising, but people that drove by and stopped. I would guess 3 out of 4 were not able to have our product delivered. And that on-site build thing is going to be absolutely huge.
We're excited for that opportunity.
Yeah. You also have, as I understand it, an HOA approved. We have, if you're not in an HOA, these things don't mean anything, but we have height limits. And some are 8 foot, some are 8.5 foot. I think you showed me last time a model that is underneath that in height.
It is. It's under 6 feet on that
Yeah.
back wall.
Okay. And so I think they designed that specifically for the situation in the area, correct?
Right, because there's a lot of places that can't have the building above 1 foot over the block wall, and a lot of places have a 6-foot wall.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that makes it very limiting on what they can actually
Yes, it
have
does.
because everybody has too much stuff and not enough space.
Wait, what? Are you sure?
Otherwise, we wouldn't have a business.
Have you ever heard someone say, my wife said I need to get my stuff out of the garage? I think that was the biggest thing I used to hear as a dealer. My wife said I have to get the stuff out of the garage.
At least once a week.
Well, little Miss Kayla said to me yesterday, once you guys move to South Carolina, I bet we can get a car in this garage. And I was like, oofda. Yeah, that's us too. We have a case of stuffitis. And so do a lot of people, which is why people need sheds. And we have this great opportunity to service them.
Absolutely.
So what do you think, what is your biggest challenge right now? What do you think? And it's not to put you on the spot, but it's we want people listening to hear the story, because there's people going through the same things, the same challenges that may not have someone. What do you think the biggest challenge is right now? Where are we? May 2024.
I would say basically just the economy. Everybody is scared to spend money because inflation of everything, and people are like, oh, okay, I got to choose between this or that. I think is where a lot of people are at.
I agree with you, and I've heard in the past, and because I didn't experience it before, I did mention earlier, sales are cyclical, that prices
Absolutely.
come and go and that sort of thing. I did hear in the past when things got tough that rent-to-own sales tend to increase. I'm not hearing that right now from dealers that I work with. And so I find it interesting. So in my head, I'm always wondering, well, is it possibly because we're not marketing the rent-to-own? Maybe we should be marketing it more now. Do you think that could be part of it? Or do you think people are they're just gonna wait if they can?
A lot of people have been just saying, we're going to wait, hopefully this situation gets a little better and then we'll decide. But I mean, everybody has problem. Otherwise, they wouldn't be looking for a shed.
Yeah.
The way I see it is that we're problem solvers, because I don't think anybody just goes out on a shed lot to say, oh, you know what, I want to go look at the new shed models. It's not like you're buying a new Corvette, and
That's true.
You want to
That
see,
is
you want
very
to see,
true.
you see the pretty. Yeah, sometimes. Oh, I want to see that pretty shed that
Right.
you
Well,
know
that's
I've driven
but
by.
not the
Right.
normal person.
Right, but I mean, it's to solve a problem.
Absolutely. So that leads to, I wonder if, we talked about that before we came on here. You know, I think there's so many people that don't know portable buildings are a thing. You know, it's the challenge of how do we get that out there? How do we be unique? But I'll tell you what, storage units are full.
Absolutely.
Now, listen, if
And
someone,
the prices keep going up. We
well,
hear that
exactly.
so much from so many people that, you know, or that they've had a storage unit for 10 years. And it's like you could have had your shed paid off and not be having any
Multiple
more payments
times.
anymore.
Multiple times,
yeah.
exactly.
yeah.
So that we try to market that to people that the rent own, and we have a good rent own company that we work with, Carefree Rentals.
Oh, wonderful.
Is a great company to work with, and they have some good programs, and
What
90
term
days
do
same
they
as
offer?
cash.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So 90 days, same as cash, and then Carefree Rentals offers
24, 36, 48 months, and 60 months if it's more than $6,000.
Okay, so a little bit bigger building.
Yeah.
That going back to the storage units. They keep increasing. They're almost always full. And if someone lives in an apartment, we're not going to put a shed right in their parking lot. But there's so many people that I think it's just our challenge in this industry is getting the information out there that this is an option.
Right.
When I went to that first shed lot, I didn't realize, it's going to be, I knew they were on the lot. I didn't realize they put it on a truck and trailer and brought it to my house. We
definitely get that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, these could be delivered. It's like, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And it's, even though
Yeah.
I've heard that question so many times, it still kind of shocks me that
Yes.
that there's so
many.
big of a so many people that just don't know that that's how we do it. And so I'll show them some videos, and then or when people get their shed delivered, we'll get calls back, and it's like, that was such an awesome process.
It is so
and I mean, it
cool.
is. I mean, there's a lot of work and design that went into the shed trailers and the
my
mules
goodness.
and all that to make it easy, a lot easier. Because I've definitely heard stories from back in the 70s how difficult it was to actually haul a shed and
can't even
do
imagine.
it, and so I mean that part of the shed business has grown immensely because there's the need for that to make everything
Yes.
easier.
I think it goes back to the marketing and what do we do? How do we get the not the name out there necessarily? You guys do an absolutely fantastic. I see your marketing all over. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well,
But it's
That's all great.
we try, but Shed Gal, I don't know. That's a hard one to beat there.
Well, guess
that's why
what?
we're-
Since we're partnering up, it isn't twice as good together. It's tenfold good together, and that's why I picked up the phone and called you because
We're
I
glad
knew.
you did.
I knew
We're
it.
excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think the biggest challenge right now, aside from everything you said, yes, the economy is a big one right now. Hang in there, folks. Dig deeper. Do things differently. But I still think one of the largest things, especially out here in the West, people do not realize portable buildings are available. They don't realize that they're quite economical. They don't know that they can get them on rent to own. They don't know that they could possibly go to their bank and get personal financing if they chose to. I just don't think I don't think most people even know we exist yet. So
I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like back in Pennsylvania, Ohio,
yeah.
North Carolina, all that back there,
Yes.
where everybody you go and buy a shed. And
Yes.
yeah, out here in the West, it is
And it was-
emerging, and
yes.
a lot of people don't really understand that. And then in this area, we get, in Washington, I mean, I'm sure, a lot of people come down from here in California, and it's just like you said, people, I get a storage unit is where you put your stuff,
Right.
And then you kind of got to get
Right.
that word out, or we even have people that I've driven by here for a year, and not today. I'm finally coming to look and
Yes.
see exactly what this is about because they don't even understand the process. Besides, like I driven by and then we tell them, and it's like, oh wow, this is so easy. And then so many
Yes.
people think it's such a difficult process, like buying a car, and they're going to be in here for 4 hours filling out paperwork.
15 minutes.
Yeah, 15
and
minutes.
talking to the man behind the curtain about the actual price.
Yeah.
We don't do that in this industry.
No, I mean, all our prices are in the buildings, everything, very transparent. And like April said, I mean, 15 minutes is a slow one. That's if we're talking to you and stopping while we're typing in the order.
Yes. And all dealers have a different process. I know and we didn't talk about that more, but I caught on to it when we had lunch one day. You're like, it's very quick. It can be a very quick process. And I think for me, I probably drug it out more than I needed to. I probably developed more rapport than I needed to. And that's what I love about talking to dealers. Like, I'm going to try it this way. There's a dealer back in, actually, Jeremy Martin, Cabin Connections. He's back in Kentucky. Man, he went through his, how he talks to a customer and stuff. I have never seen such a well-polished way to present it to a customer and get their signature and money. And that is a complete compliment, Jeremy. It is incredible. It was completely opposite of what I did. And it always shows me there's way more way than one to get things done. Why do you choose to do it the way you do it?
Well, that's just the entering the order part of it.
Yes,
I mean, sometimes it takes 2 years to sell somebody
Well,
a
that
shed.
is very true.
I mean, there's a lot of, it's a big decision for a lot of people. And then, like we said, not everybody even fully understands the product. So, it's like, oh, is this really the right choice for me or not the right choice for me? But then, once somebody buys one, then it's like real easy.
Right.
The next one, because then they understand the product, or, okay, hey, I got, my neighbor got one. That really solved their problem. I need that.
Yes.
So once people understand
neighbors.
it. Yeah.
I love the neighbors seeing the
Referrals are
deliveries.
awesome for sure.
Yeah. Greetings from the Shed Gal. As I delve deeper into the shed and steel building industries, I am thrilled to establish connections with friends who offer amazing products, such as Wendell Hochstetler, the owner of VersaBend Tube Bender. At VersaBend, they thank you for your interest in their tube bender. The VersaBend is designed to bend 2-inch, 2 1/4 inch, and 2 1/2-inch square tubing, as well as 2 by 3-inch rectangular tubing in either 14 or 12 gauge. Powered by a robust 5 horsepower unit, it features 2 adjustable stops for setting your desired degree or pitch. Priced at just $19,500 and shipped from Abbeville, South Carolina, you can secure your VersaBend with a down payment of only $1,500. Contact them today to check availability and get placed on their order list. VersaBend is a family-owned business dedicated to providing an easy-to-operate bender made with off-the-shelf components. A unique feature of their bender is that it offers a full radius bend, unlike the double crushed bends produced by most other machines. Want to see it in action? Visit their website at www.csecarport.supply or give them a call at 864-446-3645. What is your favorite thing? And you have a little bit different role, and I know you still help out at the dealerships, but you have outside responsibilities too for 5-star sheds. Greg, what's your favorite thing about the shed industry? Because I'm going to be real honest. Sheds aren't very exciting. They don't talk, they don't cook, they don't clean, they don't drive down the road. It's a shed. But why do you love this industry?
Right, well, I definitely agree. It's trying to market something that is just a very static object is difficult sometimes to make it a little more lively. But once people really understand what you can do with them, I really like helping solve the problem that people have. And, I definitely like when people are, wanting to start some kind of small business and, okay, I need a workshop to do this. Or we've sold something, during COVID when people couldn't go get haircuts.
Oh, yes.
So the guy bought a shed for his sister so that she could start a little barbershop in the backyard. And
how cool is that?
Yeah, so
That's
she
really
didn't have
cool.
to have hair all over the house, and it was all contained in the shed.
or people in our house.
And people in our, exactly.
Yeah.
So, just kind of solving the problems and then helping somebody, a small business grow, I think, we're a small business trying to help other small businesses, I think is a great thing. That's the thing that I like the most.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites is this little Airbnb. It's right down the road in Morristown. It's called B&B Bunkhouse. And
do you have an extra card?
I can get more.
Okay, because I'd like
She
to take
drops
this
them
with
off.
me. I'd like to include this in the video part of the podcast.
So Diane's an awesome lady. She's bought multiple sheds from us now, but that's the only one that's an Airbnb. And it's just adorable.
Number one, I love this business card. One side's got the shed, the outside of the shed. The other side has the inside. And I hope we can get this on the podcast and if you're listening, you're missing out if you're not seeing the video on this. But it's really cool. So this is a repeat customer. She's using them for a specific purpose. There's some brand loyalty there.
Absolutely.
But that brand is you, right? I mean, she's buying from you. Because she knows.
From April.
Right. I was looking at Greg. I meant to look at April. But she comes back to you. Why do you think that is?
Because we solved her problem.
Yep. And she likes you.
When she comes, she came back with a new problem. And
some people have
said-
lots of problems. We've got
said,
to admit
okay,
that.
now this is what
We
I
got
need.
lots of solutions.
That's a
And,
good
and then she
comeback.
came back again, and she actually bought one of our new hybrid sheds that has the wood framing, the wood floor, and everything still can be delivered, but it's all metal sided. And
Those are very nice.
she just needed something quick and small to throw tables and chairs and things like that in. And she was in the budget, and that building fit the budget. So she went ahead and ordered one up. And
That's really cool. I love stories like that. And I love the fact that you also offer the more economical line that is, the stick framed, but with the metal sided. I looked at the prices when I was out with you a month or two ago, and I'm like thinking, for the square footage, I would have been paying way more for a storage unit than that building.
Absolutely.
And you said something a little bit ago. You said some people have had them 10 years. I had someone, one of the first sheds I sold, so almost 7 years ago, and I said, well, how long have you had your storage unit? 13 years. I said, well, I'm nosy. What have you got in it? Well, we have a couple of car seats, and we have an old crib and an old crib. She's like, you know what? We have stuff in it that we could have thrown away years ago. Number one, those car seats, they're not, they're not, safety wise. But anyway, we ended up getting them into a building, and I think it only ended up being half full, which was kind of funny. But it ended up being $5 less per month than their storage unit. Now, of course, the cost of that storage unit had gone up over 13 years. But for some reason, I find that customers have no problem paying for a storage unit.
that they'll never own.
But some of them don't want to do the rent-own, even though it's their only option, because I'm not going to try to talk someone into rent-own that's comfortable purchasing it outright. I mean, that's just me. But they're uncomfortable paying the fees in a rent-to-own, even though the monthly amount, it often, with one of your sheds, is less. Why do you think that is? Because if I can figure this out, it's going to help dealers across the country. Why do you think that is, that it's acceptable to pay the same or more to rent something that when you walk away, they say, thanks for your business, get out, make sure you sweep it out, or they're going to own the building? Why? Why is there that?
I don't have an answer for that. And
Darn it.
Yeah. If anybody knows, please put it in the comments and let us know, because it's just that mindset. Like you said, you're just basically throwing money away forever, as opposed to having something that, because there's not a price. They don't put a price like, this storage unit is $8,000, but if you do rent to own, you're going to pay more. And then people who do that. Oh, well, I'm paying more. Why am I paying more? Well, I mean, nobody gives away free money,
right? Wouldn't it be great?
Everybody wishes that somebody's going to loan them money for free, but I mean, you pay way more for your house, you pay way more for your car if you're, you're financing it, and people, I don't know, just don't understand that when
Mental
it comes to
block.
sheds. What's that?
A mental block.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
mental block because it's like, oh well, it's just that per month, and I don't know, just to get that across, because I mean they'll throw away money forever.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw this out to you as a challenge. I think we should kind of put together a plan of trying something out that we're literally, and maybe there's some of you out there that would like to try this. I am so curious about this because I read something recently that said 74% of all Americans have at one point or another had a storage unit. Now that could be a husband and wife and they have a storage unit. 74%? I mean, that is just billions of dollars a year. I would love to do some target marketing directed at people in storage units. And I'm not seeing a whole lot of that out there, listeners. I would love to see if that might not attract some business, because I think that's a huge part of the folks that we could be marketing to.
Absolutely. I think a lot of it is just, somebody moves and then they say, well, we're going to put some of the stuff into the storage unit. And then they're just too lazy to get it back out.
I know.
And
They just don't have time to get it back out.
Paying and paying and paying, and it's
Yes.
just like, oh, well, or just procrastinating, and
Well,
it's like,
that
oh,
was me.
I'm going to do it next month. I'm going to do it next month.
Well, it's no
and
fun.
Then, like you said, then you're like, I don't even know what I have in there anymore.
Right.
Because everything just got stashed in there.
Right.
It's in boxes, and you go to find something, it takes forever.
Yeah.
Where a shed, you could actually just go right in your backyard. And you don't have to drive across town.
So the convenience factor, and that goes into, they just push it off because it's not convenient to go take care of it, because now they have to move it from the storage unit to wherever else. It's so convenient with these buildings. I'm going to throw that. We're going to talk more about that after we get done here. We're going off on our own marketing tangents, but I am going to challenge some of you dealers. Gosh, reach out to me. I'd love to work with you to see if we can do some targeted marketing on that. Let's talk about metal buildings. You did sheds for quite a while before you brought metal buildings on. Tell me what was your deciding factor on bringing on metal buildings, and how is that market for you different than the sheds?
I would say that we brought on the metal because we were getting asked probably at least 2 or 3 times a week for a carport or an RV cover. In case you didn't know it, there's lots of snowbirds in Arizona, and they want to protect their RV, especially if they're going to leave it here when they go home for the summer. They want it to have shade. And so when we were approached about that, we said, all right, let's give it a try. It's definitely been a good addition, I think, to our offerings. The more people see them, again, that's another thing. You sell one to the neighbor, then the other neighbor's like, oh, they got a carport. We need a carport. And so we appreciate the word of mouth for sure. But that's why we started, was we were getting, and that would be a pretty impossible thing to do in a portable aspect.
Yes.
Yes, we could build it on site, but
it's a cost-effective way. It's another solution for a problem.
Right.
Absolutely. And especially around Maricopa County, driving around, I mean, holy cow, there's some storage unit places that are just for
RVs.
these huge RVs. Now, I don't know if either of you have ever checked in the price, and I haven't, but I'll bet you they are several $100s a month.
our friends have one in an RV storage facility because they can't have it at their house because of the HOA.
Yes.
And I want to say they're paying $150 to $200 a month just to have the RV parked in there.
So they could
And that's not even covered.
Oh my good! Oh, that's not even covered.
Not even covered.
Yeah, I bet these ones. There's some new ones out down Happy Valley Road. I'll bet you there's several $100s a month. And so that leads to, even if someone who has a $250,000 RV probably isn't a normal rent to own customer. But let's just say they ran out of money because they spent it all on their RV. They could get a RV carport for less money per month and have it conveniently at their location versus renting it. So we go back to that same thing. Now, a lot of the snowbirds, a lot of them do have second houses and they have the HOA, so they can't have it there. But there is still a big market, no matter where we are in the country, for folks that have a use for a metal building. Whether
Absolutely.
it be a carport or that sort of thing.
Yeah, the Arizona sun beats up everything out here, so you need to have it covered with a metal shade, a metal building, a wood shed. Everything gets beat up out here real quick.
Exactly.
I know all across the country it does, but especially in Arizona, the sun is pretty brutal out here.
It's very brutal. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because they're also needed in northern Arizona because of the snow.
Yeah.
Many areas we know get horrific wind. Washington State was Western Washington was the rain. I can't really think of a good reason why someone wouldn't want to call you and buy a carport wherever they were. Really, I mean, there's always a benefit to, especially when you're spending that much money. But even to protect cars from sun fading or possibly hail damage back east, that sort of a thing. At least let your metal building roof take the heat, so to speak, or the opposite from hail, rather than it be your RV, because that would be a lot spendier to fix, and insurance claims, that sort of thing. So you have how many buildings do you normally average on a lot? Because I know you have a lot more than the average bear. Normally, I say me. I was the average bear. I never complained about the inventory I had. I got what I got, and that's the way it was. With that being said, you always have a wonderful, wonderful assortment of buildings.
We have about 30 on each lot.
That is great. That's fantastic. I mean, it really is. And it's all perception. Just spent time out in Kentucky and then drove down to South Carolina. And, I see these lots with 60 or 70 buildings. And someone said to me, yeah, we're really lacking on inventory. And my mouth is just like hanging open. I'm like, lacking? But they have that opportunity to have more. I was lucky if I had 10, 12 on a lot at a time.
I think our 30 is a pretty good number for us. Sometimes I feel, like we've had other times where we've had more, and I think it just confuses some people sometimes. I start showing them, it's like, oh, I like this.
Options.
Oh, I like this. I like this. Oh, I like this. And then they're just confused.
How many roof color options do you have?
We have 6 metal colors and 6 shingle colors.
Okay. Wonderful.
Currently, we're hoping to add the copper.
That
metal
copper
roof
is not only very popular, but it right now very, very popular. It's gorgeous.
It's very
It's
pretty.
gorgeous. The reason I asked that, I did not know the answer. And I'm actually glad you didn't say like 32 different colors. I think sometimes, because you brought it, it's almost like if you have too much inventory, they have too many choices, and some people get stuck in that, not being able to make a decision. I think it comes down to that with roof colors too. I heard a dealer recently say we went from 7 to 20 some roof colors, and that might work great for some. But this dealer said to me, all it does is it's taken way longer for the customer to decide. There's 4 colors of gray. Why do we need 4 colors? So it's interesting that also can possibly be applied to inventory. What's your most popular size that you sell for a shed?
I would say a 10 by 20.
Okay, great.
Because 200 square feet is the magic number.
Yes.
If you go bigger than that in Maricopa County out here,
Yes.
and several other counties, then you need a permit. So people, the 12 by 16 or the 10 by 20, like,
Very popular.
What's the biggest I could get without having to deal with the county?
Yes. Yeah, because you step over that, and then, a lot of people just don't want. I wish permitting could be easier for what we do, especially in the areas that are more rural. There's one county in Arizona, Navajo County. It'll remain unnamed. I threw it in there, but they will not permit portable buildings for any reason other than a shed. No, why they will not, unless they've changed something real recently. And then we have a neighboring county, Coconino County, that there's a couple of hoops to jump through and having engineered drawings, but it's not a big deal. They'll even permit them for the same buildings for tiny homes. I think a lot of times people do And they'll tell us as dealers, I'm going to live in this, but I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm not going to get a permit, and it's not our job to babysit. But I wish the counties all over the country would maybe, look at it a little bit different with these companies. These are very, very well-built buildings.
Yeah.
Very well built.
Kind of going back to what we said earlier that, I think some other, states, and they've had the sheds for a long time, and the states and counties understand that, that they are well built. And then out here, it's kind of a newer industry, and we don't have a lot of pull, in the
That's
counties,
true.
and they just don't understand
know.
it.
Exactly.
They're like, oh no, like we it has to go to this standard, and otherwise it's a no-go, because they, the people who are in the county usually don't really understand the business.
Exactly.
Like
They
so
probably
many people
don't
out
even know
here.
they're available, really.
Right.
I mean, like the general population. That's very interesting. Yeah, I would like to see that more. What do you think about, do you advise customers ever that they should think about anchoring their building, or do you suggest certain things like a radiant barrier? Do you have, what kind of things do you offer that maybe someone else might not?
All of our buildings come standard with a radiant barrier on the siding.
Fantastic.
And also on the roof sheathing, which definitely helps in Arizona, keeping it 10 to 15 degrees cooler.
Yeah.
Helps reflect that heat out, or if you are cooling it or heating it, it does kind of help keep that heat inside as well.
I like that. So as far as anchoring goes, I know customers can go buy their own anchoring systems. I always liked, and this is just my personal opinion, it isn't that I would go out and anchor a building, but just saying, it's something that they might want to consider, doesn't mean you have to get underneath the building, Greg, and actually do the anchoring yourself. There was actually with a rather large company, there was a sales manager in another state that would frequently post pictures of him anchoring a building. And so I don't know if Philip has talked to you about if that's part of your job description as a
Not my
sales
job.
manager, but I thought it was kind of weird that there might be more important things to do. Not saying that anchoring a building isn't important, but I certainly wouldn't. I'm not going to call on you to anchor my shed that I'm going to get from you, all right? So, but yeah, there's all sorts of little things. I like the fact that radiant barrier, on the walls and the roof. Did I see a shed that had a little shelving in it or a workbench?
We offer shelving, we offer workbenches, we offer the single pane windows, we offer the vinyl pre-hung windows.
Those are really nice.
We can do porches on the building, as well as the portable option. We do have a lot of upgrades, and again, like I said, we do stuff that maybe some of the bigger companies won't do or don't do because
Yes.
they have their system.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely. And it works, and it stayed, even like me, I say my hands were tied, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I was very, very successful selling what I could sell. I would have, and again, grass being greener, we're not even going to go there, but it's like, I think, oh my goodness, like having the opportunity that you have, I think it's wonderful. It's certainly not, we're not trying to suggest anybody from any company go to another company. You can make it work where you are, right? No matter where you are, I made it work. I sold a ton of buildings. It would have been nice. I guess it's always the coulda, woulda, shoulda. Well, it'd be nice if we can do this. And we can't do everything. There's never a time that we can do everything. Darn it. But that's just not reality. We're not a, yes, they're licensed contractors who build these, but we're not a licensed contractor that's going to do there's just some things we can't do, right? So
Absolutely. And I mean, you just got to find the right choice for you. And like you said, every business, there's no reason to change. You put in the hard work and you get the results.
absolutely. What would you give? I know, well, let's put it this way. I don't know of a company out there right now that is not looking for a good dealer. And I know that this is more of a business to business podcast, but everybody listening probably has someone that might be a really good dealer. what advice would you give to someone or
Well, 5 Star Sheds is looking for dealers. So.
Wonderful. That would be in the state of Arizona. Have your people call our people. And full disclosure, I don't work for 5 Star Sheds. I just happen to be sitting here with April and Gregg. But seriously, I think if you find someone who's a good personality and is wants to provide a solution to people, companies will be begging them to come work for them. Like, they'll get to pick and choose. But how do we go from someone being an employee who's hourly or salary, and then how do we talk to them that this is a great opportunity, albeit commission only? Because that's a huge jump. I've been on commission only almost my whole life. It is no big deal to me. It's a very big deal to a lot of people. And I think the industry, we're missing out on a lot of good people. The industry isn't going to change the way they pay people, and I'm not suggesting that. But how can we talk to people and perhaps get them interested in the opportunity?
It's an unlimited income opportunity. The only limitation is the one that you have in your own mind.
Oh, there it is.
If you're willing to, we work. People laugh at us, but we've sold buildings sitting on a houseboat in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
I've sold buildings sitting in an airport on a flight back home from somewhere. We're not afraid to work, and we play just as hard. Don't get me wrong. We love to travel, and
Me too.
But you have to be willing to put the time in, and then those residual things will keep coming back to you. Where you can then be sitting on a houseboat in Fort Lauderdale or in your condo in Cabo, and you can sell a building. Why?
Exactly.
Because you're not afraid to answer the phone.
I think that's a big deal. It's being at your lot, being available when you're not at your lot. Right now I've designed it where I can work from anywhere, even though we're going to have our super centers because of the way I have designed it. Starting, August 1st of 2017 to today. It is, I had to put in the work 6 days a week at my lot. Until my husband came on, I was the only one there. I needed to be there. It has definitely progressed. I just feel like there's in this industry where I guess it could be any commission-based job. It would just be nice if we had a way of explaining to people that, the opportunity is huge. To walk away from the security of a paycheck, the other side is way better than that secure paycheck.
I agree. I mean, a lot of salespeople understand that.
Yes.
But a lot of salespeople don't really understand, that the shed shed business is a good opportunity to switch to until they actually do it. It's like, am I going to make money?
Right.
I know selling cars and selling
know.
houses and all that. I mean, you can make just as much money selling sheds. If you put in the work, you'll get the return on it.
I agree. And I think that comes back to you don't know what you don't know. So I don't know how the expectations were set with you. When I got into it, I was so far in debt. I was thinking in my head, if I could just make an extra $1,000 a month, how cool would that be? I mean, that's what I thought. And my first month, I made $10,000. I sold 10 sheds. I didn't even have a display lot. I'm not kidding you guys. I look back, I don't even know how I did it, other than I was posting. We don't know the opportunity. And after that first month, I'm like, I think we're on to something here. And, if folks out there that are listening, if you know of someone who might be a good dealer, please reach out to them. Step outside that box. Ask them to step outside their box. There are tons of companies that are looking for great dealers. There are some dealers, unfortunately, that won't stick around. And I think it comes down to they don't know what they don't know. They might feel like they're not getting the information that they need. I'm all about training. And so those dealers may not make it. But I think it takes a special type. You do what you have to do. You work hard, you play hard. I love that. Absolutely love it. And where did you say you were in? Not the Everglades. You were somewhere and you sold a building.
Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, Fort Lauderdale. See, I had Florida. Florida.
We've been all over
Yeah,
and sold
I love it.
buildings. We
Yeah.
sold one this weekend.
Wait,
on
you
our
were
way
in
to Las Vegas.
Okay, I was going to say, I saw a post that you were in Vegas. See, and that's the difference. It's that mentality of, well, 5 o'clock, lots closed. No, I don't have hours.
We're closed on Sunday, but we'll still answer the phone.
Yeah. Same here.
We need that break from the office, but I mean, we've definitely sold several buildings on a Sunday just by picking up the phone or saying, "Hey, I'll answer your questions. Give me a call Monday morning.
That's
Happy
fantastic.
to write you up."
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think it's and I'll tell you, I mean, I literally know hundreds and hundreds of dealers from all different companies nationwide. And the ones I hear that are struggling the most, I think everybody's having a challenge right now. But the ones that are struggling the most see it more as a job, or I don't have to be there, or they don't return a call, or they don't answer their phone. And I love that you do it differently. I love because it works. It works, and you'll get through the challenges of 2024 and be stronger for it. I just had a call this morning with a dealer out in Virginia, and things are going okay, but not as good as they had hoped. They just got into this a few months ago, taking over a lot, and that was full transparency. And I said, I'm really thankful. Just my opinion, that you're getting into it now when it's more challenging than in getting into it in the middle of COVID and thinking that was normal. Because, boy, I mean, it was incredible. Come on. All of us in the industry that were there were like, this is amazing. We can't not sell a shed, but it's not reality for those of us that want to be in this industry maybe 10, 15, 20 years from now. It's not going away. And out west, it is truly in its infancy compared to in the east. So before we wrap this up, I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask me a question. What's my favorite color or whatever, what kind of truck do I drive, whatever you want.
We know your favorite color is red. Anybody
yes, ma'am,
that knows
it is.
you knows it's red.
It is red.
So we know why you got into this. Why are you working so hard on these super centers around the country?
Yeah. My passion and is training and helping. I mean, my love language is helping. The super centers I see as something that, and I'm not even, we've referred to it as a super center, and then we were going to call it a mega mart, and here's what it is. It's Shed Gal. It is above and beyond what else is out there. Now, there's some really cool, what we'll refer to as super centers, mostly back east. There's a couple in New Jersey that have a ton of things on their lots. We're going even above and beyond that. It isn't to outdo anyone. I want to make it so, and these first two, which are Glendale, Arizona, and then outside of Greenville, South Carolina, these aren't the Shed Gal lots. These are the first two of many Shed Gal lots. We're doing it because we know we are not going in to try to annihilate anybody else that's in the area. What we hope is it's going to bring more awareness to what we as a group of dealers offer. I hope that I sell a lot, and I hope the person 10 miles down the road sells a lot. I think it'll bring awareness to that because of the amount of advertising we're going to be doing and the things that we're going to be offering. I truly believe that even a lot of the big companies may be entertaining, allowing, dealers there's some companies that may only want you to sell their product. Your 5-Star Sheds is not like that. They let you bring on metal and that sort of thing that they don't sell. I think it's the way of the future, and I think a lot of companies out there believe it's the way of the future too. I think the companies are getting away from, hey, mom and pop, they're a realtor and let's just throw a couple sheds in their parking lot, and if they sell 1 or 2 a month, I mean, come on, if you're doing that, that's fine, but that's not dedicated to the profession of selling sheds.
Right,
So
you're limiting yourself.
You're limiting yourself. And I think even 10, 15 years ago, that's what a lot of companies did. Is, we'll just get a ton of dealers, and if they sell 1 or 2 a month each, we're going to be good. It's just not going to work long term, especially in an economy like this. So my goal is to up the ante in the whole industry. Anything I can do to make it better. our lots are not going to have a person working at them. It's going to be multiple people from day one once the darn barley is done growing. It just kills me. And so we want the Shed Gal name to be a nationwide brand, and we want it to be a resource for not only customers, but for dealers. So let's say, for example, I have a customer that contacts me or a friend that contacts me in Washington State. I happen to be aware of a gentleman named Chad who owns Genesis Buildings up in, I believe he's in Winlock, Washington. We're going to be that resource for dealers too. You need a hauler in Alabama? Give us a call or check out our website. The information's going to be on there. That's our goal. And I hope a ton of people follow. I hope a ton of people follow and are able to offer more things too. So that was a very long answer, but I really appreciate it. Did I actually answer your question? I hope so. Okay. Why are we doing?
Yeah, definitely answered the
okay.
question. A lot of information. I think that's great that you are willing to help other companies and not just, I'm all about myself.
No.
I mean, it is, we're in a very small industry, but a very big industry.
Yes.
And I mean, everybody needs to work together in order to help each other and help the industry in itself grow.
Absolutely. And I spend a tremendous amount of my time talking with other dealers. Here's the thing. They reach out to me for help, and I learn so much. It's just amazing. So I've really had a wonderful time here with April and Gregg. I appreciate you letting me come out. I love your story. I can't wait to partner with you.
We're excited about that too.
And just, in that partnership, we're not business partners. They're going to have their sheds on a lot that we're going to have our other stuff on. And I believe that together we are stronger. And that's literally how I live my life. I don't know any other way. So I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Shed Geek podcast on Magnificent Monday. Stay tuned for next week's episode. And from Susan the Shed Gal, have a great week.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and we want to say thank you to all the guests and listeners.